What is going on, you guys? With the passing of Jason David Frank this past November, if you know me, Power Rangers was a big part of my childhood. And losing Jason David Frank, who was my favorite Power Ranger, Tommy, it really hit me hard. So, to start out the new year, to honor JDF, I'm going to review Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie. Alright, so the Rangers go up against the absolute lamest villain ever written for the screen. Ivan Lame-Ass Douchebag Ooze. Going up against Ivan while they're fighting his henchmen, I guess you could call them. I call them the Ooze Boys, because what else am I going to call them? He pretty much attacks the command center, and honestly, when he's attacking the command center, the stuff that he knows that he missed, considering that he was locked away for 6,000 years, he's literally going around saying like, "Whoa, the things I missed, the Black Plague, the Spanish flu." But honestly, he might as well throw in the finale of Saved by the Bell. The craze over that Twilight bullshit. Yeah. Like, how does he even know about that? But then again, it's a Power Ranger movie, so who really cares about logic? After a very casual conversation with Zordon, right before he basically tries to kill him, he goes on to destroy the command center, and Zordon is basically in a state to where if he stays out of his time warp, which is the big tube that he's usually in, if he's out of that tube for too long, he dies. It's a race against time. The Rangers have to regain their powers because when the command center is attacked, they lost their powers. But honestly, I know I'm not the only one thinking this, but when they're fighting the Ooze Boys, when they start morphing, how is it that in every episode that they morph, we all know the villains are probably thinking this? Guys, you do know we can attack them or run away? We're standing around yelling out dinosaurs? Yeah, no kidding, you're just standing around morphing. The Ooze Boys pretty much disappeared by the time the Rangers were done morphing. It's like, the entire time that they were morphing, they could have been kicking some ass. Come on. But anyway, they go to a distant planet. They gain the power of the ninja. And they get new powers. Then they come back to Angel Grove. They fight Ivan Ooze, destroy him. And when they get back to the command center, turns out that Zordon has died. And I'll be honest, it honestly was one of the darkest moments of any Power Ranger movie I had ever seen, or any Power Ranger episode. Because they killed off Zordon for about 2 minutes. And luckily, Tommy's optimism brought Zordon back. Those with a great power can do pretty much anything. With that power, they brought Zordon back, which was awesome. And then after that, the city throws a thank you party for the Rangers. And of course, there's this little kid they're friends with. Wow. He predicted the future. The story is kind of wacky, but you know what? I don't care. This movie is very nostalgic for me, so I love it. With Tommy. Jason David Frank himself. He is the best Power Ranger in the entire series. I don't care what anyone says. He's the best. He's optimistic, which obviously his optimism saved Zordon. He's the best fighter. He became a mixed martial artist after he left the series. He's even in a martial arts Hall of Fame. He opened up his own dojo. He knew 16 different types of martial arts. Seriously, the guy was unstoppable. With Billy the Blue Ranger, He's the geek. He's the nerd. But he's the best Blue Ranger there is. Literally, Revenge of the Nerds. I've always loved Billy because he's nerdy in the coolest way possible. He makes it cool to be a nerd. Adam, the Black Ranger, I honestly feel bad for him. He gets the short end of the stick in this movie. His Ninja Zord is a frog.
Like the one you kissed. Get a handsome prince.
Or in your case, a talented voice actor. Yeah, no kidding. Johnny Young Bosch, he's been in Bleach. Like every iteration of Bleach, he's the main character. And I'm not going to go over every acting credit he has outside of Power Rangers. It's honestly insulting that he gets the short end of the stick. With Kimberly, she's the Pink Ranger. She's Tommy's girlfriend in both the show and the movie. And they're just so adorable together. And you can honestly see that she's really bonded with Zordon over the years. Like, she's so worried that she's going to lose Zordon that she even stops in her tracks when everyone else who's also bonded with Zordon just kept going like, we gotta hurry. She actually is so emotional she has to stop. And like, I'm just worried about Zordon. And they have a heart-to-heart. You know, she's the best Pink Ranger. Rocky, the Red Ranger. He's a fun-loving guy, and I will say this. His actor is pretty awesome. Like, back in 2016 when I was on this massive, like, oh, I'm gonna be open about being a Power Ranger fan, even though I'm in college. And every post I posted back then was either Kingdom Hearts or Power Rangers. And take a look at this. Yeah, Rocky from Power Rangers liked one of my posts. He liked it. Yo. I mean, sure, I would have preferred that it was JDF, but still, Rocky's awesome too. You know, so, shout out to you, Steve. You're awesome. With Ivan Ooze. The reason why he's so lame, this guy was in Raiders of the Lost Ark. And honestly, I half expected Lord Zed to say this to him. Finally, someone who's uglier than me. Like, no kidding. Lord Zed is more pleasing to look at than Ivan Ooze. And I do love how when Tommy tells Ivan Ooze who they are, he says it with confidence.
We're the Power Rangers.
Bitch. And what does it say that your so-called evil villain, that even Zordon himself builds up like you're dealing with an evil beyond all imagination? And when he finds out who you are, his response is, he's not that much of a threat, is he? Alright, quickly, because I'm running out of time. The only thing I didn't like about this movie, Ivan Ooze sucks. Moving on. My final thoughts are, watching this movie again after JDF's passing, it really hits home that he's really gone. I never got to meet him, but he was a big part of my childhood, and I follow his widow, his daughter, Jenna, as well as another one of his daughters that actually makes music. Overall, I mainly did this review for him because, as I've said, he's my favorite Power Ranger. He was always my favorite Power Ranger growing up, and he'll always be my favorite Power Ranger. Thank you, Jason David Frank. Thank you for the memories. Thank you for the childhood. I wanted to wait until after the holidays were over, like Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. I wanted to wait until it was all over before I did this review. Which, it's kind of fitting the way he went out, because by the time you see this, tomorrow is the anniversary of Stephanie's death. So, close out this video. Stay positive and stay awesome, everyone.